Is it the fear of death that is tormenting you?
The fear of suffocating, Monsignor. At Caporetto, a shell buried my unit. I was the lone survivor.
God spared your life. May he bring peace to your soul.
His word guides me through my trials. After my nightmare, I opened the Bible and read this passage from Isaiah. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
Ah, no. You use the Bible to interpret your dreams. Please, don't sink to superstition.
Your Eminence, since God rules the world, nothing happens by chance. Everything is the expression of his will. Everything must have a sense.
And it is not in the power of man to discover it. Ah, no. Your hunger for answers leads you astray. Please, let's get back to the matter at hand. The congregation is sending you to Vladoviste in the bishopric of Alba Iula.
In Transylvania? The region has just been annexed by Romania, has it not?
To be sure. They speak mostly Romanian there, as well as a little Hungarian and German. 3 languages you know well. You will investigate the case of Martha Calugarul, a physician and scientist who died a few months ago.
And we're already investigating?
The postulator of her cause has presented solid arguments to justify a rapid process. Naturally, this mustn't influence you, but you know your duty, don't you, Mr. Devil's Advocate?
Devil's Advocate, promoter of the faith. Monsignor Briganti has entrusted me with a great responsibility. God help me be worthy of it. Will Martha Caligaro one day be counted among the saints of the Catholic Church? I hope so, but truth must prevail. My investigation must leave nothing in the dark. Before anything else, let's try to find that inn where I reserved my room. That huge, brightly lit building must be the inn. Hello, ma'am. I'm Father Arno Moriani.
Ah, you're the one who's come from Rome about Martha. Hello, Father. Your room's waiting. First one on the right at the top of the staircase. You already got a letter. I put it on your table.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hosanna, Father. Call me Hosanna. It's the name they christened me with. Oh, yeah. Really well. She saved my kid, you see. He was real sick. She sent him to the seashore. The doctor put it like this. Hosanna, your boy's got to change climates. And if it'll make the difference for you, I'll pay the expenses. That woman was truly a saint. I often go pray on her grave. Oh, yes, one thing. Young Master Peckmaster told me he'd sure like to meet you.
Mr. Peckmaster?
Yeah, Janos Peckmaster. He's one of my lodgers. He got the room across from yours. He's in the parlor right now.
Very well. I'll go say hello now.
Hello, Father. Delighted to meet you. I'm Janos Peckmaster, assistant professor in the medieval history department at the University of Alba Iula.
Father Arno Moriani of the Congregation of Rites.
I won't ask you what you've come here for. The whole village is aware of it.
And you? What brings you to Vladoviste?
I'm verifying some locations and doing a little excavation at the Castle of Twilight on the heights near the village.
That must be fascinating. Is the structure well preserved?
Before the war, it was in perfect condition. Unfortunately, it suffered enormously during the 1916 counteroffensive. Just between us, it was a terrible defeat for the Romanian army. Without its allies' help, Romania would never have obtained Transylvania. We can hope so.
I was in the war as a priest medic in the Italian army. I was at Asiago and Caporetto.
As for me, I prefer forgetting all those years.
That's the wise thing to do. I wish I could do the same.
Do you want to meet me tomorrow at the Castle of Twilight? You can see the ruins from the village. To get up there, go through the crossroads of the Broken Oak.
That would be a great pleasure. This must be my room. A missive from the Diocese of Alba Iula. It concerns Martha. This biography cannot be objective, of course, but it helps to capture Martha's personality. It's about time I seriously started my investigation. This must be the room of Janos Peckmester. Smells of tobacco. My next-door neighbor is a heavy smoker. Nobody in the streets. What a gloomy atmosphere.
Come in! It's open!
Come here! I'm in the kitchen.
Hello, miss. I'm Father Arno Moriani.
I am Dr. Maria Florescu. Have you come from the Vatican, Father?
Ah, I see that news travels quickly.
Hosanna is a chatterbox, you know. So, I've learned that you reserved a room at the inn, and that you've come with regard to the canonization of Martha Calogarul.
To be more exact, I'm here to conduct a preliminary inquiry. In fact, I'd like to ask you a few questions in that respect, but I hope I'm not bothering you, Doctor.
Call me Maria, please, and I'd be very happy to help you. I've read the research she published. I also know about her through what the villagers say, and from the traces she left in this house. She led an austere life and worked a great deal. Her only distraction was photography. All her equipment is still here. I'd wanted to set myself up since the end of my studies, but I didn't have the money to buy a practice. The Vesnicia Foundation offered me this job after the death of Dr. Caligaro. I accepted it right away. I'm put up, I earn a salary for tending to the poor, and I can develop a small private practice on the side. Don't hesitate to come back if you think I can help you, or I can stop by the inn if you prefer.
You will always be welcome. But please, don't go to the trouble. I'll come by again.
Adele, lie down. I'm sorry. That dog is unbearable.
No, he's not. He's a good watchdog.
You're kind. He's a good dog. His presence is reassuring. He keeps prowlers away, and any cats or foxes who might attack my birds.
I thought I saw something move behind that window a while ago. Was I dreaming? The house seems abandoned. My lord, war has caused so much damage. Hey!
Hello, my name is Ionel.
Hello, son. I am Father Arno.
You're the one who's come to get Martha into heaven?
Oh, I'm not the one who decides that, you know. I'm just here to question people to find out who she was.
She gave injections. When I was little, that scared me, but she always gave me candy afterwards. She was nice. And she's even nicer since she's dead.
Is that so? Explain that to me.
She protects people. When you go to some bad spot in the middle of the night, you have to repeat 3 times, "Saint Martha, protect me, and nothing will happen to you." The gravedigger told me that. And also, when you burn a candle on her grave, you can make a wish.
Have you made one?
I asked Martha to send me a friend to play with. I had one, but he died. And then another one, but he left, so now I'm bored. She's beautiful. You can see she's a lady from the city. She's the one who gives injections now. She gave one to me, but I'm not scared anymore.
It's closed. Hey, sir! How do you do? I'm Father Arno Moriani of the Sacred Congregation of Rites.
Ah, you're the one come for our Martha. Welcome, Father. I'm Jordan Michu, gravedigger and sexton of the parish. Sure, I knew her. She was a darn good doctor, with all due respect. And she had guts. She saved a lot of folks during the war. And then, young Ariel, that everybody was sure had an evil eye cast on him and was sure to die. But that ain't all.
Yes?
She works miracles.
Explain that to me.
Weren't for her, I'd have the back all busted. 'Cause, let me tell you, she heals even better since she died. That's why people go to her grave and light candles there. Father Gregorio Nijescu, he left for the south on a cure. He was real tired. Especially after the death of Martha, she helped him a lot with his good works. The bishop hasn't found a replacement yet, so once again we got no priest, like during the war. He left a phone number. Ask for Costanza 135. She's real pretty, but as a doctor, don't tell her, Father, but she ain't up to our Martha. She couldn't do anything for my backache, but luckily I leaned on Martha's gravestone and said 3 prayers, and the next day I was cured.
I'll leave you. You seem to have a great deal of work.
Well, with all due respect, Father, I gotta move the old ones to make room for the newcomers.
Transylvania Telephone Company. Number, please. Just one moment, please. You're connected. Greenleaf Rest Home. Good day.
Could I speak to Father Gregorio Nijescu, please? This is Father Arno Moriani.
One moment, I'll see.
This is Father Gregorio Nijescu.
Hello, this is Father Arno Moriani. I belong to the Sacred Congregation of Rites, and I'm investigating the case of the late Martha Caligaro.
Ah, yes, I'm aware of that. Not very good, actually, since you ask. But what good does it do to talk about it? Prayer is my only comfort. She was a good Christian, courageous, charitable, and she attended Mass regularly. I appreciated her a great deal. Some of my parishioners think so. The diocese realized that and asked for the case to be opened. Myself, I don't know. Things like that are way beyond me, you know.
Goodbye, Father Gregorio. I wish you a good rest.
Goodbye, Father Arno.
Well, I think I've done enough for this first day at Vladiviste. It's time to go to bed. Wow. I'm dead tired. Got to go directly to bed.
Luciana,
Johan, may I come up?
come. Luciana. Is it really you? I can't believe it. Come to me.
Oh, Lord, free me from night terrors. What a strange nightmare. I think I need to refresh my ideas. What if I went to visit Janos at the castle?
Please, Father, I have something to tell you. Mr. Stefan Luca, a reporter from the city, arrived here this morning. He's in the parlor. He sort of told me to kind of tell you he'd like to talk to you.
A reporter? Very well, I'll go.
Wait, Father. I also wanted to tell you. I have to make up the room to the right of yours for Mr. Luca. And maybe it's dumb, but I don't dare go in it anymore.
Oh, why's that, Ozana?
Well, it's like it was kind of cursed.
Really? What makes you think that?
The spot, the black spot. The more I rub, the less it goes away. And then the crucifix. It falls down on its own.
Come. What can I do to reassure you?
Please, put the cross back in place. I don't dare touch it. And bless the room. That way, I'll be able to go in it to do the housework.
Here's the black spot that frightens Ozana so much. Gloria Patri, et Filio, et Spiritui Sancto, sicut erat in principio, et nunc, et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. This bolt was forced a long time ago. Ozana, I put the crucifix back in place and said a prayer. Are you reassured?
Thank you, Father. Thanks a lot. I'll be able to fix up the room.
Father Arno, I was expecting you. Delighted to meet you, Father. Concerning Martha, I mean Dr. Calugarl, it's very important that you know. She was murdered.
What are you saying?
Yes, I didn't introduce myself. Stefan Luca, journalist. It's a good thing that you're here. Since the departure of Father Gregoriou, this village really needed a priest.
Yet I didn't come to replace him.
Of course, I know why the Vatican has sent you. for Martha's canonization. But I want to talk with you about something else. There's something much more serious. Martha, well, she was killed for defying evil. My God, I should have helped her more. I wrote an article, but he prevented me from publishing it. He's very powerful, you know. Martha was not his first victim.
I'm afraid I don't follow.
Are you skeptical? I was too. But read this letter that Martha sent me 3 months before her death. Here are the notes Martha kept. Once you've read the file on each victim, you'll be convinced. I'm sure. It's a good book, isn't it? It summarizes the events rather well.
The documents you showed me are astonishing. However, I'm surprised Dr. Calugarl entrusted you with them. Doctor-patient confidentiality and all.
Medical secrecy is a secondary issue when human lives are at stake. Think of it. The identified victims are just the latest ones. Martha was convinced that there were many others over the past years. No, the past centuries. She wanted me to alert public opinion, but the editors of my paper were pressured. Our enemy is very influential. We have to do something.
Let's see. I agree that these files are very disturbing, but we can't take the place of the police.
Martha contacted them a number of times, to no result.
Perhaps they didn't take her seriously. We should call back to explain the situation calmly.
The police, once again, didn't do their job. Call them, and you'll see.
That would seem to be the most reasonable course, if you don't have any objection.
Go right ahead. The telephone is in the next room. When you realize the ineffectiveness of the police, come back to see me.
Number, please. You want the police?
Yes, put me through to the police station in charge of Lata Vista, please.
Hold the line. You're connected.
Provincial Police, what is it?
This is Father Moriani. Well, several people died in Vladoviste in mysterious circumstances.
Vladoviste? You have the wrong department. You have to contact the Transylvania Regional Brigade. Ask for Inspector General Brutar at Alba Eula 22.
Number, please. Please hold. You're connected.
This is Inspector Brutar.
Hello, this is Father Arno Moriani. I belong to the Sacred Congregation of Rites. I've come to Vladoviste to investigate the case of Martha Caligaro in view of her eventual canonization.
Martha Caligaro. I remember her well. Always bothering my men with unbelievable stories and groundless complaints. She wasn't a bad woman, but she had a screw loose.
I'll note your opinion. Inspector, I'm calling because my investigation has revealed several suspicious deaths, which all occurred in Vladoviste. They could very well be murders.
Give me the names of the supposed victims.
Marian Marescu, dead in October 1913, Seldrick Maliskal in July 1916, and an unidentified young girl who died in November 1919.
I see exactly what you're talking about. Wasn't it a certain Stefan Luca who transmitted this information to you?
Well, that is...
Of course it's him. Don't believe anything he tells you. He's just been fired by his newspaper. He's just a troublemaker. Father Moriani, I have to warn you. Our country is currently in the grip of a certain agitation. And the Catholic minority isn't viewed very positively by certain political groups. So, if I were in your shoes, I wouldn't prolong my visit to Transylvania.
Thank you for your advice, but you understand that I can't leave without carrying out my mission.
Yeah, go on. I'm listening.
Well, we have 3 individuals dead in the same region and in the same manner, drained of their blood. That would suggest the work of some perverted criminal, wouldn't it?
No, believe me. It would suggest, rather, that your informant is bored and has a fertile imagination. None.
Did a physician examine her body?
Certainly not. Why bother? Her death wasn't at all suspect.
Goodbye, Inspector. The police think that Martha was mad. Her case doesn't look good, but it's out of the question for me to close the file without digging deeper. Let's go back to the journalist to question him. I can't borrow this without permission. The Monte Septimanal. That's a regional weekly. The issues are bound, classified by year. It's the last volume. The paper interrupted publication during the war.
Good. Did you call the police? Are you convinced that they won't do a thing? Then we can go on to serious matters. Read these 2 letters and tell me what you think of them.
Vampires, hosts. My lord, I must elucidate this sorry affair. Let's subject Stefan Luca to some methodical questioning. The letters you showed me raise a lot of questions. First of all, what exactly does the term vampire signify?
Vampire, wampir, upir, upir, brucolacus for the Greeks. Do these words really evoke nothing for you?
To tell you the truth, they do. I seem to recall reading something about these, creatures. So, if I understand right, Martha tried to drive them back with a communion host ground into a powder?
That's right. With the crumbs from the host, she drew a protective circle.
Tell me, was the host consecrated?
I suppose so.
Did Father Gregoriou know that this sort of activity was going on in his parish?
The best would be for you to ask him the question. That's the frightful reality.
And why don't the residents do something to rid themselves of a curse like that?
Because they're resigned and submissive. To vanquish evil, you have to be strong. She wasn't that old.
Overwork, perhaps?
Come on, she was in perfect health. Just before she died, she was still hiking in the mountains. Since the war, we've changed our nationality and our official language. One thing hasn't varied: the ineffectiveness of the police. Worse, I think they've sold out to our enemy. I have reason to believe They wanted to intimidate Martha, or even worse. Yes, we chatted over a glass of Tsuika, our local prune brandy. Janos is a great lad, very cultured, but he has a rare lack of imagination. Young Maria? No, I didn't want to frighten her. I don't think she can help us in any case. Father, help me resume the task that Martha began. With a priest at my side, I'd feel stronger.
It's not so simple. You see, this affair is really not in my purview.
Father, help me resume the task that Martha began. With a priest at my side, I'd feel stronger.
It's not so simple. You see, this affair is really not in my purview. I have to question Father Grigoriou about this sinister story of vampires.
Number, please. Just one moment, please. You're connected. Greenleaf Rest Home. Good day.
Could I speak to Father Grigoriou Nigescu, please? This is Father Arno Moriani.
One moment, I'll see.
This is Father Gregorio Nigescu.
Hello, this is Father Arno Moriani. Father, I have to discuss a very delicate subject with you. Please answer my questions very precisely. It's important. Do you know Stefan Luca?
He's a journalist, a friend of Martha's. They developed photographs together.
According to Stefan Luca, Martha Caligaro believed in vampires and engaged in strange rituals.
It's true. And before you ask the question, yes, I helped her.
You do know the position of the church on this subject, don't you?
I know it, and I don't doubt that it's a very reasonable position when you think about the question, seated in an office in Rome. But in Vladoviste, the situation is different.
Do you want me to tell you how things happened?
I went to the dispensary to give extreme unction to Seldrick, a poor child who was wasting away. I uttered a few of the usual prayers, and then I gave Martha the sacred hosts. She used the wafers to draw a protective circle around the sick boy. Was it sacrilege? You're entitled to think so. But the child was going to die in spite of the transfusions. We had to try everything to drive away the creature that was feeding on him. What would you have done in my place? Unfortunately not. 2 nights later, the window opened mysteriously, and the wind blew away the protective circle. Martha found the child dead, with wounds on his neck. Yes, a waste of time. The war began shortly after the child's death. I left the village to serve as an army chaplain. Upon my return, we tried to save a young amnesia victim. The girl seemed possessed. She ripped off the garlic necklaces that we hung on her neck and left her room every night. She didn't survive long. Young Ariel almost died as well, but Martha saved him by sending him away from the village. It was probably the only thing to do. It's very likely. I knew she was threatened. I'd offered her a dog to protect her. Now that seems to me to have been laughable. As if a dog could have stopped the enemy she was confronting.
Do you think that enemy was a vampire? A supernatural creature?
An emanation of the devil. If you'd lived a few years in Vladoviste, you wouldn't doubt it. Martha spoke to me of it. It's a sort of accursed way of the cross, which leads to the source of evil. She embarked upon it against my advice. I wanted to protect her. Oh, I was wrong.
Why is that?
She died fighting. I fled. Today, it is she who has the good part.
Thank you for your frankness, Father. Of course, you realize that after your revelations, Martha will never be canonized.
Yes, of course. Oh, what does it matter if she rests in peace?
Another thing, if a direct question is asked, I shall be forced to evoke your part in this business.
So be it. But you should know that my only regret is not to have helped Martha more. In the end, I slipped away. It was cowardly of me.
The Lord is our only judge. I have no wish to condemn you. Goodbye, Father Gregoriou. I wish you a good rest.
Goodbye, Father Arno.
All right, now it's time to make my report to Monsignor Briganti.
Number, please. Hold the line. Hello? International switchboard? Rome for Vladiviste. Rome, Vatican 6-5. Please hold.
He's not in his office. I'll call back later. Meanwhile, let's go see Janos at the Castle of Twilight. That will give me something else to think about.
A lovely girl. But she's got a way about her, if you see what I mean. You can tell right off she's not from around here. Always hanging around outside, if that ain't a shame. Of course, he's got no more parents. Lives with his uncle. Barely takes care of him. Sure you can. I don't know where it comes from. Some vagabond brought it to me. I gave him a meal in exchange for it. My way of being charitable, I guess. What I think is she killed herself with work. And anyway, she never ate anything. I always knew her thin as a rail even before the war. When you work a lot without eating, then obviously you're gonna... Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Oh, Father, please don't say that. People might think us folks in Vladiviste ain't very proper.
Greetings, stranger.
Hello, I'm Father Arno Moriani.
I am Luana, the gypsy. Tell me, priest, do you want to know the future?
I'd prefer to ask you about the past and the present.
Yes. She did not choose an easy path. From behind the high grass, the wolf observes the flock and carries off the weak and isolated.
As usual, the Oracle speaks in obscure, mysterious terms.
That is because it does not want to lie, nor provoke the anger of the powerful. You are an outsider like me. Beware of the people of this village. Hey, priest, do you want to play?
Yes, on the condition that we don't wager money.
You want to play for nothing? That's not my custom, but I am curious to see how you manage. Examine the dice carefully before you play. Each one, in turn, must choose a different die and throw it using a horn. The two dice are discovered at the same time. The higher number wins. Do you want to begin? You only throw one die. You lose. You win.
Hey, sir!
She was found in the dispensary, lying on her bed, calm, like as if an angel had come to get her. We all wanted her to have a real nice burial, but we had to do something simple, 'cause the funeral parlor's been closed since the war. Oh, well, he's buried in the corner up there. He was a strong guy, did road work. Still, he passed on real quick. Dead of the cold. Maybe. What's sure is, she didn't die at peace. I'd rather not talk about all that. Oh, that one. With all due respect, Father, she cheats at cards like at dice. Or if she ain't cheating, then she must be in league with the devil.
Leave the devil out of all this.
Well, whatever. In any case, I always lose against her.
Well, then don't play anymore.
This here is the corner of the Great Plague. These folks been here since 1780, so we can stuff them into a communal grave. They'll keep each other warm.
Here's a wooden church, typical of the region. What luck that the bombing spared it. Fragrant flowers, a thorny stem. It's a wild rose bush.
You know.
Of course. We played together before the war. Sometimes we'd go to the chapel with our friends. We weren't allowed, but we went there anyway. And then Cedric got sick. He went to the dispensary, to Martha, and then he died. He's my friend. He's great at the disc game. He got sick, but he's not dead. Martha sent him to the coast to cure. Lucky guy. She won at dice against my uncle. I could have beaten her for sure, but she didn't want to play with me. I asked Martha to send me a friend to play with. I had one, but he died. And then another one, but he left, so now I'm bored.
According to what Janos told me, the crossroads of the Broken Oak ought to be here. I have to keep going straight to get up to the castle. Bullet holes. On a battlefield, it's typical that the trees be riddled with shot. However, this oak has traces that seem very recent. Cartridges from a revolver. Hello, Janos.
Welcome to the Castle of Twilight. These ruins are impressive, aren't they? Imagine this edifice before the war, when the erect ramparts had been standing for centuries. The Dragoman family, which reigned over Transylvania in the heroic age, lived here. Its most famous member was Vlad Tepes, hero of the war against the Turks. A magnificent sovereign and a passionate subject to study. I think he's the greatest prince Transylvania ever had. No, the building is much older, but Vlad Tepes enlarged it by adding the outer walls. It was lived in until 1900, when the last owner died without any heirs. These ruins are impressive, aren't they? Imagine this edifice before the war, when the erect ramparts had been standing for centuries.
Skeletons. Exposed during the destruction of the ramparts.
They were convicts who died of exhaustion while digging the foundation of the castle. They were buried where they fell, probably so their ghost would guard the place. This sundial adorned the entrance to the castle. A bullet shattered it, and a piece is still missing. I searched the whole area without finding it. That's especially annoying. Gold with a sable wolf, the personal coat of arms of Vlad Tepes.
Vulnerant omnes, ultima necat. All injure. The last one kills.
That refers to ours, doesn't it?
Yes, which gives us a rather gloomy picture of man's fate.
Dragon. It's the dynastic emblem of Vlad's family. Where did you find it?
A vagabond gave it to Ozana. Perhaps I should return it to her.
No, but its place is here. The person who took it had no right to pillage these ruins.
I must admit, you're right.
And you hear? The wolves multiplied during the war. Now that peace has returned, they're hungry. These ruins are impressive, aren't they? Imagine this edifice before the war, when the erect ramparts had been standing for centuries.
The drawbridge is destroyed.
Frustrating, isn't it? If only I had the means to restore it.
The castle must have suffered terrible bombing.
Yes. In addition, the Romanian mountain troops had the dubious idea of storing ammunition here. Obviously, the whole thing blew up.
This tree is a Sorbus acuparia, commonly known as the mountain ash or the rowan tree. I already have some.
Number, please. Please hold.
This is Cardinal Felicio Briganti.
This is Father Arno Moriani,
How is your investigation going?
a journalist friend of Martha Calugarl has a strange story to tell. He maintains she was assassinated by a dark power.
What? And what do the police think?
According to them, the reporter is a pathological liar, and Martha wasn't right in the head. As for me, I'm coming to more or less the same conclusions. I have proof that Martha believed in vampires and kept them away with the sacred host.
How could that be? The file seemed so serious. What a disappointment. And as for those vampire stories, tell me, was the parish priest aware of this?
Yes.
And he did nothing? Said nothing?
Well, that is...
Don't tell me he took part in these magical rites.
In fact, yes.
Good heavens! And was he paid for that?
I have no reason to think so. He seemed entirely disinterested and sincere to me. And he's very sick.
Oh, rest assured that I don't want to incriminate him personally, but we have to react at once, or people will say the Catholic Church encourages superstition. Stay near your phone, please, Arno. I'll make 2 calls and get right back to you.